the beginning. It's me, J. Evans, and tonight we have a serious topic. You might be in need of some help. It's time to go into life coach mode. I have Michelle on the phone. Michelle was shaking bacon. I have little Dave. Little Dave, what's the word?
I'm back.
He's back. And we have some questions to ask you. Are you in a relationship or do you have a sex relationship and you feel like you never get yours? Do you always feel like the other person gets theirs and then they get up and leave you there and they go get the soap and the water and clean themselves up and you left feeling unsatisfied? Do you feel like you have to sneak in the bathroom and play with yourself because they're not doing the right job for you? Well, your sex life is on life support, and we are here to do a in-depth look and investigations to tell you how to get off of life support and to tell you how to get it together. Because sex is something that people are so uptight about, and it's actually a good thing. So, the first thing is sex communication. Are you being sexually pleased by your partner? What do y'all think about that? Because a lot of people are in relationships and they're not satisfied.
Um, I mean, it depends on what their reasoning behind not being satisfied is, because some of the things that you named
Mhm.
as an issue isn't an issue for some people. Um, Example, when you say like, okay, they got theirs and then just got up and left you and you haven't gotten yours.
Mhm.
So I'm more of a pleaser in my situations. Um, or some may say like really submissive. So I get off on you getting off. So I may not have physically gotten off, but I'm okay because I saw you get off. So with that, you know what I mean? Like for me, that wouldn't be an issue. Like if you got yours and just got up, like we're done.
Okay, well,
I'm
take
okay.
it out of the context of it. Like, just say, even if a person, for the gay dudes, the person could be a bottom, the person could be versatile, or a straight couple, and they feel like the other person gets their rocks off because a lot of people do have that problem, and they feel like, damn, I'm left here holding on. Like, Michelle, what you think?
I agree with Dave. I honestly feel like, well, I think it too is all depends on the maturity of the person. Now,
Mhm.
younger me, the younger me, I would think the younger me probably would be kind of what you're saying. The only I want to get my was I want, you get yours or however. But the older me, I know exactly what I want. So if I know that I'm able to 100% satisfy you, I think that's kind of enough for me. Now, I'm not saying that you just be totally fucked off and dead, like you really just can't please me. But at the same time, I think I get, a satisfaction for me is to know I've 100% satisfied you.
Mhm.
Well, take yourself out the equation. For the people that feel like I'm with this dude or I'm with this woman and I'm never satisfied.
So you're
So,
asking what will we say to those people?
hmm,
You're asking what will we say to those people?
yeah, not about you, but about the people that feel like they're not satisfied. Michelle,
So if you so communication is key.
yeah, say
I'm not going to be with somebody. Okay, first of all, if you really love this person and you really want to be with this person, then you want everything to be right. So, granted, of course, everything's not going to be perfect, but the things that you can control, you do what you can to control it. And that's something that you can control by simply communicating. Hey, and you don't even have to go to the person and say, like, you know, you ain't getting me off. There's ways that you can coach a person through it without even saying a word. Like, so, I mean, you've never been in that situation.
no, I don't think everybody's coachable. I think some people you can talk to and tell them, and they'll take it like in a constructive way. And then some people will get offended and be like, "Oh, it's just you." Like I know somebody where they were with a dude. This is a straight couple. They were with a dude, and a dude would climax too quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the girl started telling him, he would say, "Oh, it's you. Something is wrong with you." Well, no, it's not her. If you're climaxing,
But
so a lot of
he
people are scared to say that.
he probably got offended because that's something that's not easily fixable by a man. But now, Michelle, maybe I mean, you can tell me how you feel about this. So, as a woman
Yeah,
that's,
you should
huh?
talk because I think that he's childish if he got mad about that because obviously she's doing something to make your ass climax really, really, really fast. But what I was gonna say, bagging back to communication is for me as a woman, I know that I've been in love with a guy before, or I really, 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 really like this guy, and his sex was fucking trash. But I ooh ah more than anybody I know at that point. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I didn't like his ass, you know, I think it's the reason I did tell him that his sex was good because I really liked him, and I was more so on the emotional side instead of the physical side of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of looked over it, but then once I started to like get older and figure out exactly what takes to please me as a woman, you know, I started not giving a fuck about your feelings. Of course, I didn't really like him at that point either. After I got to the point that I went to see my sex and said, but sometimes we'll be in a relationship and the sex ain't good at all, but we pretend well or we make do with what we have because we actually really like we put more of our emotional feelings in that person than our physical.
Exactly. Well, then too. So
Years
I don't
old.
know. I don't know. I don't know any man that's not going to get off on seeing a woman do the, as you call it, monkey jackrabbit fool in the bed, like they in there killing them. So if you like, it would be nothing for me to sit up and have a conversation, not necessarily after sex, but just in general. Like, you know, I've always wondered what it would feel like if in the middle of sex, like this happened and this happened and this happened. And, you know, when it's time to have sex, like, babe, let's try it. If he goes in and does exactly what you said, and your normal, turns into, oh my God, like, he finna try to murder you with those moves. So like it's communication. You gotta let him know what you like. And there's ways of doing it without making him feel like he ain't shit. And that's where the problem comes in. You can't come to me and tell me like your dick is trash. Like, bitch, well what you go somewhere else then. Fuck you. You know, so like yeah, it's communication.
Yeah, people, you have to communicate. Now, for me personally, if I put myself in the equation, I don't have that problem because I feel like I'm very open about sex. I'm not uptight about it. And you can pretty much tell if I'm having sex with you if it's garbage because once we done or even while we're in the act, I'm gonna let your ass know this is some bullshit. Why waste my time? I done got in the shower. I done dried myself off. I done put cologne on, and you giving me the unbest that you don't have? No.
Well, let me ask you this question: how big what part does sex play in a relationship? Because it's a lot of people. Let me speak on women. It's a lot of women that married to their husbands or whatever, and they know the sex is not right, or men married to their wives that know the sex is not right, but it's not a deal breaker in the relationship. Now, for me at 45, now maybe when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
but at 45, I think it's not necessarily a deal breaker now because I'm older. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want no trash ass seat. You got to at least be 80%, and I'm going to teach you the other 20. But I'm just saying, right now, I ain't looking for nobody to get on top of me all day long and want to fuck when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s, late 30s. Just want to fuck all the goddamn day long. We just fuck. Nah, because what's going to turn me on now is your stability and how you treat me. That's going to make me, ooh, ah, your motherfucking ass to death. You hear me? But how much does sex play in your relationship?
I think it's a big part
I
because
don't.
I don't think sex is everything. Let me say that. But I think part of a relationship is having a healthy sex life. If you're not compatible financially, sexually, mentally, it's not going to work. And I think sex is a part of that. Now, you don't have to do it every day, but you do want to enjoy it because that brings about other stuff of people texting somebody else, of people saying, "Oh, well, I cheated because you did that." Now, I'm not saying people not gonna cheat, but I do think it's part of a relationship. Dave.
So in my previous relationship, if I'm honest, the sexual part of it was to please them. I didn't. If it was left up to me, I was totally fine without having sex at all, and it had nothing to do with their performance or anything like that. I just, you know what I mean. And then when we did have sex, if somebody was to ask me today, like about how that sex was,
Mm-hmm.
it was so much more based on emotion when we were doing that
Mm-hmm.
it would be hard for me to even answer that question because he could have barely been doing anything, but because I was so emotionally into it, because I was so in love with him, like it was good. However, like there would be times that we weren't even having sex. It would just be times where we would just be laid up and just start kissing, and that was just as much explosive as when we having sex. So I think that your connection, um, your your emotional ties to each other plays a huge role. It plays more of a role for me than the actual act of sex.
Agree with that person.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that too, Dave.
I do think sometimes like people mistake sex for love because I've been in situations where sexually we were really, really good and I thought I was just like on cloud nine. And then like I got past the sex part, I was like, motherfucker, who am I waking up next to? Stranger danger. Like I don't know you. I just know when we doing a Macarena, we connected.
Well, you know what?
Yes.
I had somebody bring me back to reality with that. So, long story short, I was living in Atlanta, and I don't know how I met this person. Actually, I do, but I'm not going to discuss it. But anyway, we had an entanglement, a sexual entanglement. Um, and all I can remember about that moment was, you remember that song, A Whole New World, that was playing on Aladdin?
Yeah.
I remember that song playing in my head, and I remember seeing blue clouds. That's all I remember. And I remember that after that moment, our entanglement happened over and over and over and over again. And I thought I was literally falling in love until they very one day I got an attitude because they wasn't answering, and I was ready to be entangled again. And they made it very clear to me, this is nothing other than what we're doing. You
But
have, you have been told that. We are clear on that, and I don't owe you nothing. If I'm in here doing this with somebody else, that's my business. And if you go home and do it with somebody else, that's your business. And that's when I learned that I have to control my feelings, because this sex thing will take you to a place where you think you are married, been married for years. Because when I tell you I was ready to fight, I was ready to fight.
My ass, I've also been entangled in a damn well. And this guy that I was dealing with, listen, I dealt with him, and Lord forgive me because I know this ain't right, but I dealt with him through my entire marriage, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I would actually sneak out the house to go be with this guy because when I say he was D'ing me down to the very last
Mm-hmm.
time, I felt like if he would have said, and I know I ain't had no business dealing with him, but I would tell that nigga something. My auntie sick. I'm gonna go to my auntie house. I mean, it was crazy. So because our body chemistry is like no motherfucking other. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, we can lay in the bed and talk, we can fuck good, we can do whatever, we everything we do on the side, we smoke, we just cool, and everything was like perfect. But he's nobody that I would ever want to be in a relationship with, you know.
yeah.
But just last year, he came to Dallas and he entangled me again. Okay.
Mm.
So like 3 months after that, no, he came to Dallas in like April, and then I just kind of like said to myself, you gotta leave him alone. You've been messing with this guy almost 9 days. You know what I'm saying? Just let it go. I look on Facebook. I had blocked his number and everything, y'all. And like 3 or 4 months later, went down the line. I looked on Facebook, and how about he was at a whole damn wedding?
His wedding.
Yes. Now listen, I couldn't even get mad at him and say your dick was trash and shit because I was in my feelings. What hurt me the most is I knew this dick was falling out. And I said, I already know why she married that nigga. I couldn't even be mad.
I know that's right.
Listen, I wanted to go tell that bitch. Know why you married, motherfucking nigga. I know, honey. I damn near want to tell you this. Me and you got to share this motherfucker, okay?
It be like that. It truly be like that. But
I didn't know if I was sad. I didn't know if I was mad. I didn't know if I was mad about sweet. And then let me tell you how crazy it is. After I saw that, I texted Dad and I said, congratulations. He texted me back. Like a week after that, he texted me and said, hey, he said, I said, why you didn't tell me you got married? He said, I just couldn't tell you that. I just blocked him because I already knew he was going to try to entangle me as a married man, and I ain't want that.
But the great thing for me was that I finally met somebody that was able to give me that I was able to love to the extent of where I literally felt those fireworks daily. Whether we had sex or we didn't have sex, whether we didn't even have to talk. Sometimes I would be in the living room and they would be watching different things on, and like I literally just had butterflies. So like, yeah, the sex is not always the most important. When you find that right person, um, you can have an orgasm. Just baby, get out the shower and walk past me. It was enough.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I think it's part of the individual.
I want it.
I think people need to have be able to tell the person they're with what they like and they want to have a good sex life. But that brings me
to absolutely
my next one, and it's called sex shaming. And this is a major part of communication. Sex shaming is when somebody tells you and they're being open and honest about what they like in bed or what they're going to do. I remember being like 19, right? Mm-hmm. And the majority part, I've always messed with like older dudes. And I was able to say what I liked and what, I want to do. And they was like, what? Like, it was like, I can't believe you said that. I can't. And I've always been okay with knowing what I like and being able to voice it. I don't have problems in my opinion. I used to like, screw you, B, because I'm able to say if I want to take some whipped cream and put some tater tots on it and you eat it off my stomach, that's just, I don't like it, but that's an example. But a lot of people sex shame people for liking certain stuff. A lot of people do stuff behind closed doors and, they have to have this persona of, oh no, I don't do that. Like, for example, oral sex. A lot of people, oh no, I don't do that. And them are the main ones sucking, slobbing, and eating every part of the body, but because it's viewed that way, and people are so uptight about it, they, oh no, I don't do that. Like, what do y'all think about sex shame?
That goes back though. To me, that goes back to understand the maturity of a person. Like being young-minded and not really in tune with yourself or in tune with your partner. Like, I mean, I don't think personally I can lay down with somebody and not be able to tell them this is what I like. But I've been there, like in a relationship, and me wanting to get like 10 toes down, really, really, really freaky. But I couldn't tell you that because I knew you weren't on that level. Mm-hmm. But you know what that led me to do, though, right?
Cheat.
Yes, it led me to go find that person that I could really just be myself with, not have to be like, I don't want to do that with him because he's gonna think I'm a whore. I don't want to do that. Women have that sex shaming thing way worse than men do.
Yeah.
Because if a man, if you really just let let yourself go with him and express to him. I mean, not to say that this is what I like, but I'm just saying, what if a woman comes to me and be like, baby, I want to try a threesome?
Mm-hmm.
He gonna look at her like she's a slut, but he can bring it up and be like, well, let's try a threesome. You know what I'm saying? And
So,
he'll probably be mad at her if she say no.
what do you think about this, Michelle, since you brought that up? Like, a lot of dudes just say, if they straight, they'll say, let's do a threesome, and they mean let's bring in a girl. But why is it never let's bring in another guy? Because the first thing they
It
say
is.
okay, but why is it okay for the dude to want to bring in a girl, but the girl not bring in the dude?
That's not always the case, though.
Great guy for that. Seriously, I honestly don't know, but I definitely understand what you're talking about, because maybe that woman want to have more than one dick.
She might do.
Maybe she's not the type of woman that want to get itchy free, because if it was me, I'm not either. Man, the whole girl on the other end of the stick of the threesome is, she gonna be a mad bitch, because she gonna say, I ain't got no pleasure unless he give it to her.
Well, so this whole gay stigma has gotten so bad that, okay, so for instance, I was watching this porn and it was a three-way. It was Wesley Pipes and Rico Strong, who, okay, I'm not going there, but anyway, they were both screwing this woman, and they was doing like a double penetration. And when I tell you, like, I was so turned on by this porn until they started trying to do the double penetration, and then it became comical because
Where
they were
both their penises are in her vagina.
right. They were both trying to stick their penis in the vagina at the same time. And so, and even with that, they were also trying to do it where one stuck it in the butt and one stuck it in the vagina. So, but it was comical at that point because they were so busy focusing on making sure that they balls and dick and legs don't touch. They were more focused on that than fucking the girl. And so it lets, huh?
How the fuck is your dick not gonna touch?
Well, they're touching, but he's saying like they were not trying to touch any other body.
Like, so he trying to stick it in the pussy with her, but he grabbing his balls and trying to stand a certain way to make sure that them don't touch. But your dick is in the same compartment with, like, I mean, let it go. So it became comical to me because it was like, okay, so y'all supposed to be in this for the pleasure of it all. And at the end of the day, if you are all entangled in this sexual situation, at some point you're gonna rub, touch. That don't mean you getting off on touching the man. Things are just happening. But this whole gay stigma, for lack of better words, or calling people gay or making gay just sound so negative, has become so bad that this is why that's an issue. Why a woman can't suggest to bring another man inside of the room? Because actually, them niggas don't care. They want a nut, and they want to see this bitch be a hoe. That's what a threesome is about. They want to see her be nasty, kinky, hoish. I've never understood the concept of that because I don't personally want to see nobody that I'm fucking with being a hoe with nobody but me. But this is what niggas like, and that's okay. And let me stop saying that word. This is what dudes like, and that's okay. But get it how you want it. Like, stop worrying about what the next person gonna say. You would think it's an audience in the room. Like, don't nobody know what's going on but you, that girl, and whoever this other person is. So, like, but people, but they so insecure, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But that's where growth and maturity comes in. And I'm not saying do a threesome or you're not mature, because I ain't never done no threesome. And if I do one, it will not be with nobody that I'm with. In the words of Tony Braxton, I'm selfish and I don't want to see you with nobody else. But yeah, if that's what you want to do it.
Now there are couples that like that though. They're okay with that.
Let me jump in right quick to say this. That but I also feel like you cannot be open and honest with somebody that's not mature, because that same person will throw this shit back up in your face.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you just totally let yourself go with somebody that don't have that same mental capacity or that same maturity or on that same level of sexual experience, I know a man but did all this stuff for him, and then 2 weeks later he's like, "Bitch, you a hoe, you ain't shit, you a hoe, you did this, you did that." So I can't be with nobody that we've done some things, and when you mad at me, you bring it back up. Cause
But that I'm glad you just said that. You can't be bothered with somebody like that. You ain't got no business fucking with nobody like that anyway. Now, I do think that a lot of people jump into these situations of let's do a threesome a little bit too immaturely. I think that a conversation should be had. I think multiple conversations should be had. You need to get to know this person. You don't know, like Michelle said, if this person gonna throw it in your face later on. You don't know if they're gonna blast you on social media. You don't know if they gonna come back and shoot you because you won't do it again. You need to get to know this person and know who you're dealing with because sex can be very emotional. Like you could not have any feelings for this person and they get through making love to you, got you climbing walls, and before you know it, you looking for them with a flashlight in the daytime. So it's imperative that you know who you laying down with.
Yeah, and that you be honest because look, I'm very like this is just it. I'm direct. If we agree to something and you can't handle it after, Michelle, like you were saying about like might throw it up in your face, I'm not the one for that because whatever we agree to is what we agree to. And if you want to come back later on and be like, trick, slut, stuff, okay, you was right there tricking for the cheese with me. You was right there with the
get
down.
Be surprised though how many dudes do that.
Yeah.
You'll be super, and you may even be surprised. Like you deal with a woman. I mean, women may do it too. I don't know that may deal with a man, and then she have two men in the bed. She has two men in the bedroom with her and him, and then later on down, she's like, "You're a punk because you did this, or you gay because you did this."
Yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, absolutely.
I still think in my head, like if it's not a person that's where you are sexually, you know what I'm saying?
Don't
I
waste
think
your
that's why
time.
she is not exactly.
But so for example, for immature, I have a friend right now who's married. Now her and her husband, and I'm not saying a name, and I'm also not telling her business because everybody in the world knows that her husband cheats. It is what it is. So she goes and has a threesome with a guy that's bisexual and a gay guy. She has the time of her life. But then her husband asked her for a threesome, and it's I ain't doing that. You if we do it with another man, you're gonna be gay. But you was just fine with being with the other gay guy. It's just, to me, it's just too many.
She's trying to make her husband believe she's somebody she's not.
Yeah.
But it's unnecessary because her husband, when I tell you her husband is the most open hole there is, like he come home and tell her everything he done from all the way down to a bitch just tried to holler at me in Walmart and I want to suck her pussy. Like, if I have somebody like that, what the hell am I hiding from? Like, tell him what it is because he's sure enough telling you what it is. So
you're probably trying to put on this fucking good girl role with her husband that's not gonna work.
Because
I've been there before.
How many people like? Okay, let me ask you this, Michelle. Now, it's a lot of men, right, that like doing other stuff. Now, there are men that are not gay, but they like anal stimulation. They might like that girl to stick a finger in them. I know people that like to use dildos, like the girl used the dildo, and they are not gay, but a lot of women cannot handle that. So that goes into sex shaming. Like, does this straight man tell this girl? Because I've heard guys say, when they're about to climax, if the girl sticks her fingers in him, it'll help him ejaculate better. But the first thing a lot of girls are gonna think is this is a funny bunny sugar cookie. Like if you was dealing with a dude and you knew this dude was straight, but he was like, Michelle, when I'm about to climax, I want to stick a finger up my butt. What would you say?
but see how you just laughed? That's why they feel the way they do. But go ahead.
I'm not talking about me.
No, I'm saying.
This is my thing, though. Like, I've never stuck my finger. Well, let me stop. I have. But what I was about to say, Michelle is mature when it comes to sex. So I can't speak on other women, but what I can say is If that's my now, I'm not sticking no dildo upstairs. Now, if he wants that, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be thinking to myself, you know what? Then I might, blame me for the sex shame, but I'll be like, you know what? You think you're going too motherfucking far. Now, way what motherfucking did. Like, what's really going on here? I would think that. I honestly would. Now, finger, I think it's something totally different. But you want me to stick a dildo on your ass? No, I'm not doing it.
But what? Okay, so Michelle, wait a minute. So the problem is we can't deal with the stigmas. We have to deal with facts, and the facts will be getting to know a man's body, the anatomy. Okay, so if if you pay attention one good day when you having sex with a man, when he begins to ejaculate, if you have a view of his asshole is going to start to clench and open. That's just human. That's what happens with the man's anatomy. So when you sticking that finger back there, it's kind of like giving a gripping sensation that helps. But now the dildo is a whole nother situation. He trying to get that G spot hit, which every man has, and every man will get off on, but every man doesn't do it because they're worried about the stereotype. So I think that a man should be able to be open with a woman that he's with enough to tell her, I'm hitting your G spot every time he should be anyway. I'm hitting your G spot every time I go up in you. Why won't you hit mine? You ain't even got to do no work. You getting a toy. You just putting the toy in and out. Like, you know what I mean? So, like,
So,
I don't know.
to be honest, to be totally motherfucking honest, and I don't know if I'm shaming or what, but nigga, don't you dare ask me to put no motherfucking dildo on your ass.
But your finger ain't going to reach it.
Well, you know what, motherfucker? I'm sorry. I got little fingers, and it's not gonna work. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna try to go there. I couldn't.
So how would you feel if you saw him doing it to himself?
I would break up with him.
If you saw him using a dildo on himself.
Yeah.
What if he said he wanted to do it with you though, in front of you?
Hold on, listen. I know you stuff going deep in and what else? I'm gonna cut this off right now. I got my choice out. I got my this is what we gonna do tonight, and this time got a choice on this. Now I'm not gonna say that I would not stick my finger in your just to see how you react. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say, well, motherfucker, I'm not gonna take my choice and you turn the fuck over. No. I'm not sticking that shit in your ass. I'm breaking up with you. That's our last time.
I mean, listen, you're entitled to your opinion, and I totally get where you're coming from. Because of just the way the world turns at this point, I totally get it. But if we're going off of the actual anatomy of a man, I mean, they have their G spot just like you do. And believe it or not, okay, so here's the thing. So, and I may not be getting it perfectly right with the numbers, but I promise you I'm very close. So, in your vagina, there's 8 rings, I believe, that stimulate when a man goes in and out of your vagina, right? A man's ass has 36 of them. So that's how much more turned on or how much more sensitive that is back there than you are in your vagina. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but they just trying to be stimulated as much as you, probably a little bit more, but that's okay too. But yeah, so, but I get it. I get it. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just explaining to you that this is what happens. This is why they're wanting that, because they probably had somebody to do it. They've now realized how good that shit feel. And I know some guys that's like, if a bitch ain't.
We're breaking up.
Some of them like to get fisted.
No, that's going too far.
Like, okay, this is a lot of guys, even straight or gay, they like for the person to fist them, like put their fingers inside them and then use lube and stuff and take their whole hand and fist them. There's like porn where people do that. I'm just telling you that's something that people like.
I don't think that they want their woman to do that though. I've never heard of anybody asking their woman to do that. That's
There are. It's not just in gay culture. There are straight men that like.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't know what else I want to say about that. But me and my sister laying down, we having fun, and we doing whatever, we just all kind of serious. And this nigga roll over to me, stick my fist in his ass. I'm gonna slap the back of your teeth, some motherfucker. I'm not saying that.
Now I'm gonna say, if a man wants to be fisted by his woman, he been doing a little bit too much. Because what did you have in your ass the size of a fist to even get you to realize that you like some shit like that? Like, you've been going to buy supersized dildos and shit, and that's crazy.
Some people just have different experiences. Y'all, that's sex shaming. You guys are doing sex shaming.
No. I'm not sex shaming. I'm asking, what did you do with something the size of a fist that lets you know that you like to be fisted? Now, I can understand the girl probably stuck her finger up your ass, just experimenting, and you probably said, "Oh, let's try doing it with a toy." And the toy, granted, the toy, granted, is going to be bigger. So now you realize that G spot is up there, and the dildo will touch it. But what the hell would you need to go get something the size of a fist? And put up, you doing too much.
With another woman that was more experienced.
You get.
Some people just have different fetishes, you guys. Fetishes that they like. What? I'm just saying.
Even the men that I see on gay porn getting fisted, they yelling and screaming. That shit ain't comfortable. No, if you a straight man doing that, you doing too much. You doing too much. I'm sorry. You're a bottom.
He could be. Look, yeah, that is sex shaming. He could just be in touch with his sex shame.
A nigga better not roll over to all your fist. Your fist in my ass. I'm gonna slap the hell out of the back of you. You're not gonna do it.
I ain't slapping nobody neck, baby. If I was a woman and a man told me to stick my fist up their ass, if you don't get your nasty, trashy, get your ass up out my bed. Because it's a wonder you probably split back there. That's probably what I would want to see, how many stitches you'd have had in your booty.
You know, and I again, like I said, maybe a finger. Or maybe the girl might want to rub her finger down his ass or however. I even had some of my friends that they didn't lick the guy ass before. And the guys they like.
Some people do.
I know a lot of women that eat it, and I know a lot of men that love to get their ass ate, and ain't nowhere near gay. Like, I mean, hood niggas will tell you, like, my woman be eating my ass and that shit. You know what I mean? So I do know a lot of men that do that. We done lost Jay.
You know what? I'm gonna lock my shit in the box because I might come home and your ass over here with you.
Y'all are crazy. Okay, so from that topic, let me go into sex relationships, because a lot of times people, I've said this before, they say they want a relationship and they really do not. They just want a sex relationship, and nothing is wrong with that. But then a lot of times you end up catching feelings for the person. Like, I know if somebody is bad in bed, you know how people, let's wait a while, Janet Jackson, wait a while. No, I'm not saying I'm gonna roll over with you in the same night, but I'm not saying I'm not opposed to it, because I need to know if we compatible in that way, and it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm not finna be with you 5 months and we still waiting a while. No, we gonna see if we click. But
in my 40 years of living, I have been in 6 relationships. Every one of them, I have slept with them within the first hour of meeting them. So that shit about waiting, I ain't with it. Like, the first thing, I don't care what nobody say, the first thing you see is what they look like. So people love to say, oh, how they look ain't really important. It's the first thing that you notice. Like, why would I confront you because I think you smart? No, I don't know shit about you but what you look like. And that physical attraction is a motherfucker. So, but 9 times out of 10, and it's a proof, because like I said, in every relationship, it's been that way for me. I want to fuck. Like, we could see if this will go somewhere later, but right now I like the way you look. I think you're sexy. I'm sexually attracted. I want to fuck. And that's usually what happens. And we take it from there.
Well, I think all of my long term relationships have not been like, okay, I'm fucking you today. Now, some motherfuckers out there tangled with, yeah. But like a long term relationship or people that I've actually fallen in love with, I don't, because I think as a woman that goes into this sex shaming thing again, we have
Right.
I remain kind of like a good girl in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And then once me and you become in this relationship, of course every man wants that good girl to turn into a bad girl, especially because them, you know? But
But now but now in the gay world, some guys are expected to be that too, i.e. me. So a person may look at me and feel like, oh, you a hoe because you do, but it ain't none of that. No, nobody know that most of the people in the streets that know my name or have seen me before probably think that I don't even have sex. And if I do, like I'm just as prim and proper, not knowing like behind closed doors, I am the whore of Babylon. Like I don't get whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. We ain't gotta wait no 3 days, 3 months. And I'm probably gonna kick the shit off. So I just think that's about just privacy.
as you get older, you know exactly what you want sexually. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people do. Like some people actually marry the person that they have a one night stand with. It
Yeah.
does work sometimes. But for me, like I mean, if I think I'm gonna have a relationship with you, I'll probably try to play the good girl role. But you, I'm not gonna lie. And knowing I'm saying to myself, nigga, make one move, just one move, please.
But see, I look
Yeah.
at it the same way for a woman and a man. I look at it the same. I don't think it's bad if a woman do it because realistically people do it. But I know just for me, even if we're dating, because some people have a rule where, we have to be dating and then a relationship. I'm not gonna waste my time with us being in a relationship if we not linking up, if we not exchanging sex spaces, if we not making this bed scene and we not compatible. I'm not gonna even go forward with it. Not just that, but other stuff. But I know that's a part of it, and we don't even need to waste each other time.
Now I'm not gonna say that it's important to me to know that before I can date you. It's just for
No,
me,
I
it's just a matter of that's just the first thing that I see, and that's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, if it didn't come to that, I'm okay with being with like if I get the fireworks and the emotional attachment and the love that I felt with the previous person, if I feel that with somebody else, again, if we never have sex, I'm okay with it because that connect like it's almost orgasmic, just like doing things that you would never even imagine would bring that upon. Like I literally just laying in someone's arms sometimes, them touching you the right way, saying the right thing inside of your ear. So it's not always important for me, the whole sexual thing or whatever.
you're just a more romantic person. I,
I would say
everybody
that's
has things.
romantic, but I've never dated somebody. But I out of feel in love. I don't think they'll have to system all trying to have this fireworks or this butterfly or this little thing. But now just meet a motherfucker and then I'm talking about a butterfly up. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not gonna work for me. And I'm not even really one of those people that forget looks. I'm really not. The first thing that I notice on a person is how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
Then the looks seem because I dated some ugly motherfuckers before.
Well, now wait a minute, because I like a little ugly every once in a while too. Now let me be clear. In looks, um, your looks, I could have not even been looking at your face. I could have been looking at your print. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Um, I could have I could have been looking at your arms. Arms and thick thighs will, baby, they save lives. Do you hear me? So, looks not meaning your face per se, but just something about your physical appearance attracted me. And sometimes ugly is it. Because if I find a man that is black as tar, ugly as hell, but carries himself with a swag like he the shit, that's marriage material for me.
Yeah.
Why can't he be light as a light bulb and ugly?
I'm not really into light skinned guys. No, but wait a minute, because I don't know who's watching this. I haven't been into light. You may be the light skinned guy for me. Please, if you see me on the streets and you light skinned and you're attracted, say something to me. But in the past, I haven't been attracted to many light skinned guys. So, except for the guy that plays on P Valley, the security guard. I think his
That's
name Ty something. Yeah, now he could get it.
Benny from the Half and Half, not
Amen.
Benny.
Amen. Amen.
Uh, so okay, what do y'all think about this? Like, you know how you be with somebody for a while. Just say y'all meet, y'all connected, y'all click, the sex is good, the relationship is good, financially y'all good. Y'all might even get married, right? And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden they start liking other stuff, start changing to another person. Like they might want to do like dominatrix stuff, like tie you up or you tie them up. What do you think when it's like a sex change in your relationship? Because some people start off doing it all the time and then they stop and one person might be mad because the other person might not be into it. What do y'all think about
I would say that I think that it's a maturity thing, but I really don't. You're going to have some people that just aren't compatible in that way. You may come up with something later on that you want to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm just not willing to do that, then we have to see if we can find a middle ground. And if not, then we probably have to walk it off. Now, I don't think that it's the most mature thing to walk it off. I think that you should be able to find some type of compromise in that situation where everybody's satisfied. But I'm not going to say that I just have to agree with what you want to do just because I'm with you. Absolutely not.
And that's how a lot of them get from. They really don't like it. They feel like they can't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And they really don't want it.
it? Yeah.
They really don't. I know a lot of women like
That to me, a threesome is like you and the people or foursome or whatever. You have to be like, it has to be a chemistry because with the right people, it might be something you like, but if you have a bad experience, you might not really like it. But it's like everybody got to like, it has to balance itself out.
Absolutely.
So if it doesn't, then you're gonna walk away like, oh, I'll never do this again. But with the right people, yeah.
Well, I've never had the
it.
privilege of experiencing a threesome, so I can't really speak much on that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Good,
Mm.
good topic though. Good topic. Good conversation.
Okay, so let's wrap up. What would be y'all advice just for somebody as far as like being able to say the stuff that they want to say? What advice would you give them to make their sex life work? Michelle.
Be honest. Be open and honest. If you can't be honest, then from the jump, that's gonna go straight down the hill.
Dave, your thought.
I totally agree. You should be able, if you're in this relationship, you should be respected enough to be able to say whatever it is that you're feeling. You should be able to speak your desires. Again, that's not to say that they're going to agree with everything, but you should definitely be able to speak it. And there should definitely be able to have a conversation and come to a middle ground as to how we can both be satisfied in this situation. If not, then you need to do some you need to check on some things because clearly there's not a mutual respect there, and that's no way to live, not in a relationship, absolutely not.
Yes. Well, I think people should be unapologetic. They should not be scared to embrace their sexuality or what they like to do. Because if you want a fist in you or if you want to bring another person in, as long as you're honest with this person before y'all say we gonna get serious, or even before you lay down with them, at least they know and have a choice of what they're getting into, and then you won't get the short end of the stick. So if you a person that says size matter and you want somebody that's packing, or if you want somebody that's lacking, just be sure to be for real about that thing and don't be ashamed of what you like and what you do. Well, I want to thank Michelle and Dave for joining me and being my life coaches with me for the day. And with that said, it's only one thing left to say. We've talked the talk, and now it's time to walk the walk. Be sure to subscribe, share, comment, like. You can email me. People have been sending me DMs and saying all kinds of stuff to me, whether you like it, whether you hate it. I find it entertaining. So have a good night. Thanks, y'all.
Good night.
Bye.